news, traffic, and the latest on the Redbirds. This is the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
Hi, guys. Welcome into Friday on Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz, Kevin Wheeler, our buddy Matt Pauley. Matt, of course, is live down in Jupiter. And as will be our custom throughout spring training, we're going to open the show with our spring training report.
Now, a St. Louis Cardinals spring training report. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens, and making memories. And by Happy Roof. We always create happy endings on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
So what's going on today, Matt? What'd you see? What'd you hear? What's up?
Yeah, today was a fun day. We got 3 separate live BP sessions of note. Kyle Sixto, that's
Kyle Sixto, you threw a bullpen?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he did.
Damn, that's pretty good from St. Louis.
Kyle Leahy and Durangelo Senja of note. Senja threw only from the right side, facing both righties and lefties. So it seems like they're kind of on the Seattle plan where he's throwing from the left side of the bullpen, but throwing from the right side and everything else. We talked to Ollie today, talked a little bit about the bullpen. I know we'll talk more about that in this show, so we'll just kind of let those topics come up. But yeah, it was really good to see more live BP sessions. Handful of guys got some bullpens in. I watched Gordon Graceffo throw a bullpen, Matt Swanson throw a bullpen, one other player, Max Rajic, threw a bullpen as well. So things are happening. Sunday is full squad report date. Monday is first full squad workout. A week from tomorrow is first Grapefruit League game.
Get out.
Do it.
Pretty amazing.
This is the final weekend. We're going into the final weekend until, obviously late October.
November.
November without Cardinals baseball.
Well, the Cardinals will probably be done before that.
I know. That's the joke I was trying to make. But at least through September, so this is the last weekend without Cardinals baseball through September.
Awesome.
Hey, Matt, again, I want to thank you because you include me in the loop when you send some audio cuts from Ollie and Haim and all that. And it's really helps me get ready for the show, too. Am I nuts when I say Ollie Marmol sounds like he is in a really great place as the manager of the Cardinals? He is really fired up. You can just tell there's just something about him. I texted him last night and said, I think you're going to be entering your sweet spot as a manager. I think with this team in particular, compared to what he's dealt with, I think this team really has given him already like a sense of satisfaction and pleasure and joy in terms of working with them on a daily basis.
Yeah, he told us, and I think he has said some version of this every single year. So it's not that he's being disingenuous. It's just I think he feels this way every year. He said this is the most excited he's been to work with the group. He's talked a lot about the buy-in of this group. And I asked him the other day, I said, is it more impressive that you have the buy-in when the outside expectations are low? This group seemingly, and it's really easy to say this. What's the date today? Today's February 13th. It's really easy to say this on February 13th, but it doesn't feel like this group has taken any of these outside expectations into the clubhouse and onto the field with them. Now let's see what happens when we get into the season and things don't go the way that you'd like them to go. But no, I think you're right, Bernie. I've always thought he's really comfortable in his managerial skin. That's something that and I think that's I think it's a byproduct of preparation. I haven't been around every major league manager in the history of time. I didn't cover Tony La Russa like you did, Bernie and Kevin, but I appreciate the preparation that Ollie puts in. And where that plays out is he's able to be really confident in the decisions that he makes and even the way he answers questions, because he has a good reason behind everything he does and everything he says. If you're going to go take a test and every piece of the material on the test, you feel really confident walking in. If you walk in to take a test and you have never studied for it, you're going to feel nervous. It's not an apples to apples comparison, but you see where I'm going here. And I think we're getting that from Ollie right now.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating, too, because, look, there are a lot of kinds of motivation for players, right? I mean, it's great motivation knowing you're trying to win a World Series, knowing you're competing. But when you're looking at a roster full of guys who are they want to just establish themselves in major league roles and eventually earn contracts. Don't get me wrong. They want to win, but they got plenty of motivation just wanting to make sure that they're going to stay on the field, that they're going to get on the field, that they're going to get that big contract at some point. So I'm glad to hear that he feels that way, because as a player, you have more than one thing that pushes you. And I'm sure you guys would agree, having been around great athletes, it isn't even just about those things either. A lot of it is just, that's how you're wired. You're wired to compete. It's what you do your whole life.
Hey, and we've talked about this before, and I'm going to go back to it. With Ollie, I always thought he was in a tough spot for a lot of reasons. Number one, John Mozeliak put him in the manager's desk, so that was like one strike on Ollie, no matter how he managed, and that even remains true today. Some people just will never get over it. I have no idea why. It's kind of weird, but anyway. Also, he took over a club that had a lot of veterans, and usually that's a good thing, but it's hard to explain when you're talking specifically about Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. They wanted to play a certain way. They wanted to be used a certain way. They told him to go out and get, hey, we really need leaders in here, which the more I think about it, the more absurd it was.
Very bizarre.
Yeah.
Because they were the ringleaders, like, you got to go. Yeah, go get Matt Carpenter. I talked to Brandon Crawford. Go get him. And I added that up today, and that season, that particular season, those two guys together were making a combined $52 million. And plus they were in their combined, they had played a combined like 22 major league seasons. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. You got to go out and get leaders. What are we talking about here? It made no sense to me. And we talked about this a lot, all three of us. Ollie was put in tough spots because it's easy for media and fans to say, well, it's too bad if Nolan Arenado wants to play every day. It's too bad if he's hurt, but he says, no, I'm good. Everyone says, well, that's a manager's job to say no. Yeah, it's easy to say. It's easy to say. It's not so easy to do. And that's the reality of managing. He doesn't have any situations like that this year. He can just manage.
It's a good point.
And he can be comfortable. And
you don't have the captain of excuses, Miles Miklasz, in your rotation.
Right. But no, like, he can just play it straight and just like not worry about the politics of the situation of alienating Arenado or alienating this guy or that guy. Sonny Gray, not a bad guy. I don't want people to think he's a bad, not at all. No. But Sonny Gray, he insisted that his schedule be set up the way he wanted it, and it didn't really matter how it affected anybody else. So Ollie starts fresh without all these potential encumbrances hanging over him. You see what I mean? That's my point.
Yeah, Bernie, I think it's well said. I agree. Well, and I know this isn't where you're going, but I like bringing this up when we talk about, the things, the strikes against him. He was replacing a very popular manager in Mike Shildt. And we know about the Shildt stuff that's come out since. I will always have most managers, I think, in Ollie's situation would have, through back channels, floated out the information about what led to the demise of Mike Shildt in the way. And he never did that. He wore just the replacing a popular manager. And if that doesn't tell you something about the man who Oliver Marmol is, I got nothing for you.
Yeah, and obviously, we don't have a whole lot of time, but I mean, we keep getting these kind of dumb things from GWC Jr., who says Ollie never played a day in his life in the majors. Hopefully that was voice to text and not you. He had no experience like Molina or Pujols, who was the best in their position. Again, you need to work on your own grammar before you're going to criticize someone else's job. If you can't write 3 sentences, maybe you should work on you. But secondly, who cares? What was Tony La Russa's major league career like as a player?
Not good.
It didn't exist. Bernie, how was Earl Weaver as a major league player?
He never got there.
It doesn't matter, man. It just doesn't matter. Like Barry Bonds was one of the worst hitting coaches of all time. And he was one of the greatest hitters of all time. He was a terrible hitting coach. It doesn't matter, and you got to get over that. You got to get over that.
Your guy Sparky Anderson never played in the big leagues.
No career.
Yeah, I think he did okay.
Yeah, I think so.
People just get caught up in these dumb things.
Yeah.
And it's actually really funny. And then by that token, like if you take players, I wish I could name a few just to have like fun hypothetical advantages. Well, this guy played 12 or 13 seasons. Okay, he'll be a great manager.
Sure.
I mean, seriously, how many managers that have been awful managers and who have failed in multiple places? How many of those guys had like lengthy major league careers?
A lot.
So what the hell does this mean? I mean,
Nothing.
People, you gotta think a little bit
before
you send stuff in there like that. We're happy to entertain it, but come on, think a little bit.
Yeah, I'm with you. Obviously, I took that gratuitous shot because you deserved it, but just figure yourself out, buddy. Figure yourself out. All right, so we got more coming your way. In fact, I want to talk with you guys. Bernie, you had a great video on this earlier this week, so we can revisit a little bit of the idea of how do we evaluate Ollie this year, because obviously we know it's a rebuild. So we'll talk a bit about that coming up in a minute. Before that, though, I want to let you guys know about Gloria Lou. So I have had the chance here in the last few weeks to get to know Gloria, really the last month and a half or so. Of course, it's Gloria Lou with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you're thinking about selling your home this year, or you're thinking about, the spring is the time, do it now. Call Gloria right now. Don't wait, because you want to have the time to put together the plan to get your house ready. So call her at 314-325-6888. She is by far the best. She sells homes faster and for more money than the average agent. She's got thousands of buyers in waiting, and she's got 23 years of doing this, and of course has helped thousands of families here in St. Louis do this. And if you want a number that really stands out with Gloria Lou and Your Home Sold Realty Guaranteed, hey, listen, it's simple. She sells about a home every other day, and a lot of agents sell 4 or 5 a year. So you've got a lot of experience. You got a great system in place. She's got the upfront written guarantees for you. So you got a couple choices here. Gloria will sell your home at a price and time frame acceptable to you, or she'll buy it herself. Your other option would be she sells your home at 100% of market value, or she pays you the difference. It's your choice. So when you're getting ready to sell, don't wait. Don't put it off to the spring. Do your homework. Call the expert, Gloria Lou, now. 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. And as always, seller and Gloria must agree on price and possession date.
Create the ultimate raised bed garden with St. Louis Composting. Our premium compost and soil mixes are perfect for filling the raised beds you'll enjoy building, and even better for growing fresh, homegrown veggies. Imagine harvesting your own tomatoes, peppers, and cilantro for fresh salsa the whole family can enjoy. And with delivery right to your door, getting started has never been easier. Visit stlcompost.com to order a convenient delivery from your phone in seconds, or stop by one of our 9 locations in the St. Louis area. St. Louis Composting, growing gardens and making memories.
Winter is tough on homes. Ice and wind often lead hidden damage you can't see from the ground. Don't wait for the first spring showers to discover a leak. Get the Happy Roofers Spring Readiness Checkup today. We perform a thorough, risk-free inspection to ensure your roof is solid. With our Spring Smile Guarantee, you get guaranteed workmanship and total peace of mind. We always deliver happy endings. Visit thehappyroofer.com or call 314-665-3001.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Good news and bad news in traffic. The bad news is eastbound 70 has been closed, and this is just past Highway T. MoDOT reporting that both lanes are closed. They're working to get that open, but boy, is there a jam behind it. The good news is they have reopened westbound 70 at Bermuda, all lanes. Now, the highway was open, but we've had the left lanes blocked for some period of time because this was an earlier fatal accident. Eastbound 70 lanes open as well. Now, we've also got an accident on the Illinois side, southbound 255 approaching 64. Watch for that in the right lane. And an accident on 270 eastbound as you approach 111. Now, other than that, we've got the usual volume on a Friday. Westbound 6440 that lines up at Kings Highway, and southbound 55 slowing headed down toward Bates. I'm Sue Thomas in the michaelsflooringoutlet.com traffic center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour here on KMOX. Bernie Miklasz, Matt Pauley, Kevin Wheeler, and only one of us, Matt Pauley, is down in Jupiter. Always have the presence there, though, from Matt Pauley transferring to Tom Ackerman coming up in a handful of weeks. We will have somebody there every day. And that's not even counting Claves, who's down there, and obviously Ricky and John are going to be down there. So we're going to have you covered every day in some way, shape, or form from Jupiter here on KMOX. We don't have a ton of time, but we got about 5-6 minutes. I want to pick up on that conversation about Ollie. And Bernie, I really liked your video this week for STL Sports Central when it came to how do we judge a manager, right? I mean, we as people covering the Cardinals, watching the Cardinals as fans, haven't had a lot of opportunities in these years to evaluate a manager while a rebuild is going on. But it's clearly different than when you're trying to win the division.
They have the youngest team in the majors in terms of average age, and I'm going to do more research on this. I think it'll end up as one of the youngest teams ever in the history of the Cardinals.
Wow.
They also, right now, and this doesn't include salary deferments, back money, deferrals, and all this other stuff. Their active cash payroll right now for the roster they have is at about $65 million. Which would be 29th in the majors. So they're 30th in terms of experience, and they're 29th in terms of real-time payroll. So that's where he starts in 2026. So how do you judge him? I mean, if the record's bad, are people really going to point the finger at him? It's the situation he is totally unique for where any Cardinals manager has been in an incredibly long time.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Bernie, what's the statistic or the proprietary information that you got access to that says basically how much better than the expected record the team is supposed to be? Do you know what I'm talking about here? You've referenced that before.
I get them all. Get them all over the place. Yeah. There's a couple in particular though.
So
PlayDavenport.com. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Ollie's really good in that area. Ollie's fantastic in that area. So I don't know if you're judging off wins and losses. Like if the season goes completely off the rails and it is just a terrible, terrible 100-loss season, then I think you start to look a little bit negatively towards Ollie. If it's a incredible season where they remain in playoff contention and are above 500, then you look really positively. But I don't think either of those things are likely to happen. The truth is in the middle, and that's where you got to get a little bit more of a magnifying glass out, and you do use things like the metrics that show you how much better you are, how much what your from a bullpen standpoint. That's another thing you talk about a lot, Bernie. What the bullpen numbers should be, how effective it should be versus what it actually does. So I think we all, even a lot of critics of Ollie, recognize that he's pretty good at managing a bullpen. That's a really important part of being a major league manager. So it's not a black and white thing here. I think you got to use a little bit of a discernment when you evaluate the job that Ollie does this year.
It's an interesting thing, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think you guys agree, but I know my biggest criticism of Ollie the last couple of years, especially, is that he just deferred to veterans way too much. If the veteran wants to play, he's going to play. Well, you don't even have that dynamic to manage anymore. So
that's right.
Now what I want to see is how do the moves match up with the long-term goals of the team? And that's, do the younger guys continue to play? Do they get opportunities? Do lefties like Nolan Gorman get chance to face lefties because they do it okay? Like, are we playing platoon? So I'm really going to be more interested in how he handles the development of the individual younger players as opposed to like just wins and losses.
Yeah, and that was my conclusion, Wheels, because I honestly don't care what the record is. I really mean that. I really don't care. The thing I'm going to be watching every single game are individual players, and I want to see progress, and I want to see that all the teaching that's going to be done. And also, these young guys are going to have more help than ever with all of the money the DeWitts have spent in upgrading everything around them to make them better players. I just want to see every player come along. Now, that doesn't mean every player is going to blossom right away, and It doesn't mean that if they don't blossom, it's the manager's fault. But you just want to see positive trends with a lot of these guys.
Yeah. and opportunity. I mean, right? I mean, and again, the path is, last year was the runway year. This is actually more of a run. This is the bulldozer year. You have bulldozed the trail for the young guys to play because there are no veterans around that are going to be taking those spots other than the ones you're trying to showcase.
I think the runway year for some became the scholarship year, though. And
I think you're right. Yeah.
I don't think they're doing scholarships this year. There's some leash. Like we're using every stupid word we can possibly use. There's some leash.
I like bulldozer. I'm going to roll with that.
I'm writing all these down, guys. I'm writing them down. Go ahead.
But there's a limit to that. Guys are going to have to earn playing time this year.
Yeah, I agree, and it'll be fun. Those are the things that we'll be evaluating and talking a lot about as we go along here, not just on this show, but on Gas House Gang and on all of the other shows, DGS and Chris and Amy and everybody else. We got a lot of baseball coverage coming your way, and those are the things that we're going to be focused on as we move along. All right, we're going to talk more about the bullpen coming up in a few minutes. It's Matt Pauley down in Jupiter, Bernie Miklasz and Kevin Wheeler back in St. Louis, and we'll have more Redbird Rush Hour for you in a few minutes here on your home for the Cardinals, KMOX.
My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm, for the people. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
So I am somebody that I've always struggled with my weight. It's very frustrating. It's not something that I love to talk about, but it's true. I work out every single day. I eat relatively healthy, and just however my body makeup is, I struggle with my weight and I struggle losing weight. There's a lot of people out there that are in the exact same situation. Maybe you just live a lifestyle where you're not going to be able to lose weight and you're desperately trying to find ways to get a little bit healthier. Well, I have done what a lot of people have done. I have taken the GLP-1 plunge, and I've done it with St. Louis weight loss injections. You can head to their website, stolweightlossinjections.com, stolweightlossinjections.com. It is GLP-1. You can get in $199 for the first month. You sit down, you talk with them, they figure out what's best for you. There's multiple options. And here's what I told, I want to be totally forthright with you. This is what I told them. There's a lot of people who have questions about GLP-1s. I'm going to tell you my experience. That's what this whole campaign is about. So you can go make a decision if it's right for you. I did my first injection on Monday. My appetite has been way down. Every year at spring training, me and Mike Claiborne go to a hibachi restaurant for dinner. We had our annual dinner last night. I couldn't even start to finish what I normally finish there. A little bit disappointing. I love the hibachi, but I had it for lunch today, so it all worked out. But this is where I'm at. They say generally about 17 days from your first injection is when you start to notice weight loss. I'll keep you updated on it. So follow along. I'll be talking about this a lot. I'll tell you where I'm at with them and what's actually happening. And if you want to find out if it makes sense for you, head to their website, stolweightlossinjections.com, stolweightlossinjections.com. Again, $199 for the first month, St. Louis Weight Loss Injections.
Two St. Louis icons, one legendary tribute. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC at Powell Hall on Sunday, February 15th for Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner. Presented by Purina, with performances by special guests including conductor Anthony Parthener, Grammy Award-winning artist Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, and our city's own Kennedy Homes. This is your chance to experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
At 5:30, we have clear skies, 61 degrees downtown at the Arch. President Trump says a change in power in Iran would be the best thing that could happen as the U.S. administration weighs whether to take military action against Iran. Mr. Trump made the comment shortly after visiting with troops at Fort Bragg, North Carolina today, after he confirmed earlier in the day that he is deploying a second aircraft carrier group to the Mideast for potential military action against Iran. 13 days into the search for Nancy Guthrie, the FBI is now calling the subject in the surveillance video a suspect. Authorities say they believe the person they are looking for is approximately 5'9" to 5'10", with an average build. The armed man was captured on Guthrie's front porch camera during the hours that she disappeared. CBS News' Andreas Gutierrez has more on what the sheriff is saying.
There are at least 400 members of law enforcement who are on the ground, local, state, federal, working this case. Authorities say that they have received more than 30,000 calls and tips since this all began. The sheriff is pushing back on reports that there are tensions between his office and the FBI, saying that the two agencies are working side by side.
A partial government shutdown is imminent, and the Senate failed to advance a measure to fund the Department of Homeland Security. In case of a shutdown, FEMA and TSA workers will be required to work once again without a paycheck. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk tonight, clouds, a low of 40 degrees. Rain developing tomorrow, heavy at times throughout the day with a high of about 52 degrees. And then for tomorrow night, we could see heavy rain at times with downpours and a low right around 43 degrees. Right now, 63 in St. Peter's, 61 in Florissant, and 61 downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Kina in for Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open and happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Bernie Miklasz here for Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer who's been taking care of St. Louis families continuously for 100 years. This is an amazing story. Been taking care of the Miklasz family for about 18 or 19 years. And so we've come to learn what all of these other families have learned long before us here in St. Louis. This family-owned and operated business that has been open for a century, which is amazing, offers free estimates, financing options, and still has the most trustworthy and the finest customer service in St. Louis. And we know that from calling Saliga, many times over the years for help with heating or cooling or some other situation in our home. And we know that they set the standard for honesty and knowledge and professionalism, their prompt service, the way they treat you, their patience. They'll answer your questions. They'll explain every option there is. They will never try to pressure you or hustle you or twist your arm to talk you into an expensive repair job that you don't need. In our experience, Saliga Heating and Cooling always looks for the least expensive solution first. We trust them entirely and completely, and every time they walk in the door. So I can't say enough about them, how good they are, how great they are. So if you need some help with heating and cooling your home, this is the one to call. It's Saliga Heating and Cooling. You'll get the phone number on the site, which is SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Thank you.
Hey guys, Glover here from my good friends at Ophthalmology Associates. So my doctor is Dr. Greg Birdie, and he's my doctor and he is my friend. He is a very, very good, very thorough doctor. His longtime partner, Dr. Malhotra, Dr. Royer, Dr. Brisati, they are the doctor's doctors. Why do they call them this? Because about 250 local and regional doctors go to the doctor's doctors for their eye care. Now, are their eyes more important than yours? No, of course not. But it's a real indicator that they are legit when other doctors go to them when they could go anywhere in the world for their eye care. Whether you're there for a comprehensive exam or you're there for a surgical consultation on LASIK or cataracts, you're going to be treated with respect and professionalism every single time. Call 314-966-5000 or log on to youridoc.com. That's 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com for the fine doctors at Ophthalmology Associates and the Cornea and Laser Vision Institute. 314-966-5000 or your iDoc.com.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. After my husband died, the last thing I wanted to think about was money. Ethos made it affordable to get life insurance. Signing up was fast and 100% online. I knew that I could pay our mortgage and have food in the fridge. I could focus on my kids. No one ever tells you how much you're going to depend on that policy. I am so grateful we had coverage.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. That's ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Chuck McDowell here again. Over the years, I've seen way too many timeshare exit companies pop up, take folks' money, and disappear. I just saw an ad from an exit company started by a couple of bozos that used to work for me. My advice, don't hire bozos I'll fire. Want out of your timeshare? I'll send you our free timeshare exit info kit explaining your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free kit. 800-329-3737. That's 800-329-3737.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Well, eastbound 70 remains closed at this hour, and this is just past Highway T. An accident there, and of course the highway shut down, but westbound drivers are slowing for a look, and that goes back past 64. That is the worst of it right now, but there's also an accident on the Illinois side, southbound 255 approaching 64. That has been blocking the right lane. Now, other than that, it's not too bad. 70 westbound out of downtown is fine. It starts to slow at Highway A. And eastbound 6440, that's a slow go. Approaching 170 through Big Bend. Westbound is mainly moderate now. Approaching Hampton out through McCausland. Look for a little bit of moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. Oh, and an accident reported now southbound 55 south of Arsenal. I'm Sue Thomas in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
But my lips are turning blue. Are they fast?
My darling, Jerry Kelly can install a new furnace tomorrow, no matter what day tomorrow is, even if we call late at night.
You are my hero.
They're fast and they're good and they got it going on. JerryKelly.com.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, it's Friday on the Redbird Rush Hour. Bernie Miklasz is here. And in fact, Bernie and I are both here in St. Louis. Matt Pauley is our man on the scene down in Jupiter. And, of course, we also have Billikens tonight, so that'll be a good time. So, Matt, you got a little bit of a short show tonight, huh?
Yeah, we'll go till 7:15 tonight, and that will include about 6:35 we're going to listen back to everything that Oliver Marmol had to say today. So
Nice.
we always try to bring that to our listeners on an everyday basis.
That's why we're down there, right? That's why That's why you're down there. We're not down there. You're down there.
We, KMOX, it's a we. We're a family.
We're on the same team.
We're down here.
That's a good point. So we are down there, and I'll make it sound good that way. You guys, we talked about it. Both of you brought up the success that Ollie's had managing the bullpen in his time as a major league manager. It's really hard to argue against that. I mean, when you look at some of the imperfect situations. Now, when you had Ryan Helsley, okay, there was a period where he was the best closer in the game for a bit, easy to hand him the ball in the ninth. But a lot of the decisions in the other innings weren't always easy or readily apparent at the beginning of the year, but they get settled. And I thought last year, second half of the year really got driven home after the Helsley trade because you had really guys that hadn't been in much leverage, handling leverage and being run well. And I think it all adds up to an interesting piece for this year where I think you got a lot of versatile pieces, and it'll be interesting to see. And I know, Matt, you talked a bit about this, or Ollie talked a bit about this today, about whether they're going to, quote, pick a closer or play matchups or just kind of let it develop on its own.
Yeah, I think spring is about allowing it to develop, but the bullpen statistically was better after the trade deadline last year, which is a credit to both Ollie and the individual pitchers who were involved in putting together those numbers. So he was asked directly, does he see running the bullpen in a similar fashion this year to what he did post deadline last year? Because the outside of Ryan Stanek, the pieces are very similar to what you had post deadline last year. And Ollie, he's going to keep some things close to the vest before decisions are made, but he did leave open the possibility that they could install somebody like Riley O'Brien as the ninth inning closer. That would allow them to be able to utilize Matt Swanson more in multiple type situations where he's covering maybe the seventh and eighth. Ryan Stanek's going to be involved in that as well. But I don't think anything's off the table. But when nothing's off the table, that means everything's on the table. And the idea that Riley O'Brien could be chosen, selected, tabbed as the ninth inning, single inning closer, it's something that's very much being considered right now by this staff.
Yeah, Ollie, the last couple of years, you take a look at the Cardinals' record in one-run games, a team that we all know is really challenged talent-wise, offensively and starting pitching in particular. And the record of one-run games is direct reflection of bullpen handling. I also did a study of what their record was when they led after 6, they led after 7, they led after 8. The record's been held up very, very well, even though they lose relievers, like you said, to the trade deadline. I also look at his innovations. And what am I talking about that? There are other teams looking to St. Louis, and they saw what Ollie did by having 2 relievers at all times that are prepared to go to work 2 innings, and they alternate. Last year, for the most part, it was Leahy and Swanson.
Right.
And so Leahy would go 2. He'd have to he wouldn't be able to come back the next day. Then Swanson would go 2. Then Leahy would be ready after that, and he just toggled them back and forth. It was very, very successful, and it's one of the reasons why the Cardinals used fewer relievers than any team in the majors last year, because he took great care of them and he had a great system of how he used them. And that, my friends, is exactly why that bullpen held up so great even after they traded Helsley and Maton and Steven Matz.
Yeah.
So I have access to a highly confidential report put out by a data company that services MLB. Last 2 years, Cardinals ranked first in terms of their evaluation of bullpen management. Cardinals ranked first, but there will be people that will swear to you he's the dumbest manager ever when it comes to running a bullpen. He's very, very good at it. He really is.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting. You got some interesting pieces. Now, the one thing that Matt and I touched on, it was either yesterday or the day before, Bern, because it was the day that the George Soriano trade was announced. And that is, there are a few more limitations to their optionable relievers than they had last year. With trading out an optionable guy like Granillo and a guy with like Soriano who has none. But in all honesty, I'm not that concerned about it because I think you can move some of the other pieces around. And as an example, there's no guarantee that Matt Pushard makes the team as a Rule 5 pick. So there's probably more there than you would see at first glance.
I'm not concerned about it at all because Bloom told Matt and all the other people down there yesterday that they really, really, really wanted Soriano. This isn't some whimsical thing.
Correct.
This is Rob Cerfolio. It's Matt Pierpont. It's everybody else. They've been studying him for years, a couple years, and they're like, man, if we can get this guy, there are ways. Oh my gosh, just get him for us. We can make him a lot better. And now they're going to get their chance. They tried to get him before with the waiver claims. They said, the heck with this. Let's just give up a guy. The Cardinals have all kinds of arms. Relievers come and go. I mean, there's over 700 relievers used last year in the major leagues, 23 per team. No disrespect to Andre Granillo. I also did a study on some of the deep dive stuff. And the other thing about Soriano, he's got a really, really good changeup, and he's got a really good slider that's basically as good as Granillo. And the other thing is that he throws harder, and his fastball, in terms of the stuff plus rating, is about the same as Granillo. My point is, he's actually got better stuff.
He does.
It hasn't manifested itself yet, because they're going to make some tweaks to him, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't teach him or have him start using the cutter, because that's a Rob Cerfolio specialty in Cleveland. So give these people a chance. My whole thing is like, they get the benefit of the doubt. You know why? Because Pierpont comes from a great pitching system in Cleveland. Cerfolio does. Pierpont, he helped build that great Seattle pitching staff. The Cardinals have smart people also working in kind of secondary jobs with pitching. They know what they're doing. Bloom knows what he's doing in this area. Look at all those bullpens in Tampa. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They have a track record that tells me they know what they're doing, although no one's going to get it right every time.
No, but you're targeting upside, and that's what you got in Soriano. You got upside.
Right. And one other thing on this, because Heim said yesterday to us that expect the team to continue to be very active throughout the spring when players are out on the waiver wire that can make the team better. Sure. So this is something that's going to continue on. What a novel concept to not fall in love with your own guys. And when somebody presents itself on the waiver wire who you feel is better than somebody currently on your 40-man roster, being willing to remove one guy for a guy that you think is better.
I love you, Matt Pauley. Well put.
And as I said real quick, the other day in my video when I was making fun of all the hysteria over this, if George Soriano fails, if he fails, it will have no bearing on 2026.
Nope.
No bearing whatsoever on 2027 or 2028 or 2029. It's a rebuild. So why are people getting their drawers all bunched up, worrying about whether, he doesn't have any options. Oh my gosh, the whole thing's going to fall apart. It's like, my gosh, let's calm down, my friends. I'm hyper, but I'm not that type. Anyway.
All right, hang tight. We have one more segment of Redbird Rush Hour before we send you off into the weekend here on KMOX.
St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
This is Harry Carey from the beautiful new Busch Memorial Stadium.
From moment to memory.
Cardinal football on the move.
Among those voices, Bob Hamilton.
When I was in high school, I decided I wanted to go to radio.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Hey, I'm Bernie Miklasz, and I want to tell you about my friend Stuart Rosenblum. And by all means, please call him Stewie. He insists on it. He is proud to own and operate one of the most customer-friendly mortgage companies. In fact, I'd say it is the most customer-friendly mortgage companies in St. Louis and Illinois. Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie is unique because, among other things, he gives his personal cell number to all of his customers and anyone who wants to learn more about how he can help. His customer service, obviously, is personal, and it's exceptional. So put his number on your contacts list, 314-324-4440. And you're not going to have to wait on hold on a customer line for hours without knowing if you're ever going to get the help, because you're calling Stewart directly on his personal phone. And if you call him directly on his personal phone, you're going to get the help and you're going to get it quickly. The biggest difference with that you get, in my opinion, with Stewart's American Mortgage, you pay less. That's because Stewart is the only lender to offer the famous bagel loan. It's called the bagel loan because it looks like a zero and you pay zero in fees that other dealers charge you for. When you refinance, and it's a great time to do it, you pay no appraisal fees, no closing costs, no title fees, no broker fees, zero, just like the bagel, the middle of the bagel. So when you buy a home and you take out a loan for $200,000 or more, you pay altogether now zero lender fees. The bagel loan at Stewart's American Mortgage will literally save you thousands of dollars, and you're going to be working with a great man who will treat you great, just as Stewie's been doing for 35 years. They'll close a deal. They'll close your loan in as little as 10 days as opposed to 3 or 4 weeks at other places. One more time, to get in touch, you can either Google bagel loan or call Stewie directly at 314-324-4440. Thank you.
Bernie Miklasz on KMOX is sponsored by Stewart's American Mortgage, home of the bagel loan, and by Salika Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The closure of eastbound 70 just past Highway T this afternoon has really created a jam out west. If you are an eastbound 70 driver, that is the cause of the huge delay. Westbound traffic a little bit slow in that area. Now, for the rest of the area, we're looking better. Westbound 70 is fine out of downtown. 6440, just moderate volume, Hampton through McCausland. Eastbound is slow at Big Bend. Out west, 64, just moderate volume headed for the 70 split. And there's a little bit of volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Now, back to the Redbird Rush Hour on KMOX.
All right, Redbird Rush Hour, getting ready to wrap that up. You had a little sports open line tonight leading up to Billikens basketball here on KMOX. The Billikens should have a pretty easy win tonight against Loyola, but it'd still be fun to keep an eye on one of the best teams. I think one of the most entertaining teams in college basketball, but certainly the best team in St. Louis this calendar year. They're pretty good, man, and they're a lot of fun.
You know, looking at Loyola Chicago, at Ken Palm, they're ranked number 313.
Ooh.
And I'm not bringing that up to make fun of them or trash them. I'm not. But remember, they were in the Final Four. And look at this.
Yeah.
It just sort of brings into focus what a great coach Josh Schertz is, that he's got the Billikens way up there. And if he stays, and, you know, I think SLU will do everything to keep him if it gets to that. He's got a chance to build a program that's going to last here at St. Louis U and be really, really good. So it's been a fun season. I think the best is yet to come.
Couldn't agree more. All right, Matt, one more thing I wanted to bring up. You mentioned this in a text earlier, and we were about kind of what came out of what Ollie had to say today too. But you mentioned to me, and I think actually it might have been to both of us on the text thread, that he's as excited, fired up, and high on seeing Kyle Leahy as a starter now as he was at any point last year when he talked about it.
Yeah, you and I, Kevin, have talked about this because you've asked me, hey, are they still quite all in on Leahy even after all the additions and all the added depth as a starting pitcher?
Mm-hmm.
And they are. They
Cool.
absolutely are. And I asked that very specific question to Ali a couple days ago. I said, do you feel the same way about Leahy even when there's more competition? And he said, yeah, and he's that much more. He loves competition, and he's that much more excited because if Leahy wins a job in the rotation, it means he beat out some other guys for it, which means he's going to be that much better. So I don't think this is lip service for Leahy, and they're ready to let him stretch out as a starter and then here in a few weeks move him back to the bullpen. He is going to have every single opportunity in the world to win a spot. He just raved today about his offseason. And he said, talk to him and he'll explain more about it. But the off seasons of Matthew Liberatore and Kyle Leahy are the two individuals who have most specifically been mentioned by Ali in terms of the work that was done in the offseason to best prepare them to have a breakout season this year.
And I thought, Matt, listening to Ali talking about Dustin May, that was great stuff. And I encourage people to listen to Sports Open Line, and you'll hear that. Ali laid out a really great case about why he thinks Dustin May is really prepared to go and have a good season. And what the way he laid it out sounded very logical. He's not just kind of winging it. It sounded very logical and very smart.
Yeah, I mean, coming back from the injury and the esophagus thing, and he set up, they feel like he can be back to the best version we've seen of Dustin May.
Yeah, I mean, right when the arm got healthy, you had this scary, life-threatening thing that cost you, obviously, the time it takes to heal from that, the damage done by that, but also just the inability to gain and maintain strength. But you've seen him, Matt. It sounds like he's kind of back to where he was before all of this.
Man, he looks great. I haven't seen him pitch yet here in spring, but just looking at him walking around, like, looks healthy, looks great. And he's kind of the ringleader right now in that group of pitchers who stands behind the pitcher who's out on the mound during live BP to kind of lift it. That's one of the things that they're really trying to do. All the pitchers are going to work with each other and stand behind and see what they see, and then they huddle up afterwards to go through it. And May, he's the new guy, but he's leading in that area of leadership.
He's also one of the few guys out there that the two of you actually might have to look up to see.
Yeah, and
you two guys are tall, man. I look up at everybody. You two guys got to be pretty big for you guys to have to go up.
I thought he had the potential to be the leader of that group just because he's been through so much. Dustin May, great, bad, scary, frustrating, joy. Just the game's knocked him around. The game's been good to him. He was a heralded prospect. He was he was going to be the next great Dodgers starting pitcher from the left side. And then everything just went boom, and even to the point where his life was threatened just by swallowing some lettuce in a restaurant that tore his esophagus all out. I mean, that's the kind of guy that can talk to any young pitcher about, hey, I've been through all of this.
Yeah.
Let me come here. Let's talk about it. Because he really has the highs and the lows. I can't wait to watch him pitch this year.
Going to be a lot of fun. Boys, enjoy the last weekend without baseball games for a long time. You guys have yourselves a great Valentine's Day. Matt, don't work too much, buddy. Get some rest. Enjoy Sports Open Line tonight, and we'll do this again on Monday. Sports Open Line is after the news here on KMOX.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. Who would have thought a car crash would have led to charities, TV shows, and cheering with the best fans in the world? I'm thankful for every day. And so are my friends at Renner Garage Door. They've been turning garage doors from zero to hero since 1966. With help from trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, honest family-style service you can count on. So giddy up and get your free repair or replacement quote today. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
Every spring brings promises, and every spring delivers surprises. This year, the Cardinals are writing a new story, and there will be plenty of surprises. Matt Pauley is in Jupiter with inside access to Camp Cardinals.
Presented by St. Louis Composting. Composting, growing gardens and making memories. And Happy Roof. We always create happy endings.
From breakout performances to roster revelations, get reports throughout the day on the voice of the Cardinals. KMOX.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Shows Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Traffic from the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Still some slow-moving traffic out on the eastbound 70 past Wright City, headed for Forestel. That's where we had an earlier accident that shut down both lanes of traffic, and things are still unwinding out there. That is by far the worst of it. If you're taking 70 out of downtown, it looks fine. It just starts to slow out at Highway A. 6440, now it's just moderate volume in both directions at Big Bend. Southbound 170, a little bit slow, headed for 6440. Now, on the Illinois side, we've got volume eastbound 64 at 157 and westbound 64 at 159. That is due to road work. And there was a little moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge, but now it is looking better. And southbound 55, we do have that construction zone, but it's looking better at Bates. I'm Sue Thomas in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
The trusted voice of St. Louis. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Reporting.
I'm Peter King. Tomorrow marks 2 weeks since 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was taken from her home near Tucson, and investigators are hoping, the possible evidence they found this week means they're closer to finding her and her kidnappers. CBS's Andres Gutierrez is there.
There are at least 400 members of law enforcement who are on the ground, local, state, federal, working this case. Authorities say that they have received more than 30,000 calls and tips since this all began. The sheriff is pushing back on reports that there are tensions between his office and the FBI, saying that the two agencies are working side by side.
President Trump says regime change in Iran would be good for the U.S. He said that after he spoke about the U.S. attack on Iran's nuclear sites to U.S. troops at Fort Bragg.
We have a situation right now where we sent a very big carrier group to Iran. I'd love to see if we could make a deal. They've been difficult to make a deal. I thought we would have had a deal last time. They wish they did. And that's where we did Midnight Hammer.
Homeland Security funding runs out in just under 5 hours. That means many DHS employees will be working with no paychecks. Democrats and Republicans have been unable to agree on a compromise to put restrictions on what ICE is allowed to do moving forward. CBS's Nicole Killian.
There have been offers that have been going back and forth, but Democrats want to see some type of legislative commitment before they greenlight additional funding to ICE and other agencies, including the entire Department of Homeland Security.
The FAA and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy are doubling down on efforts to stop airlines from using DEI measures when hiring pilots. More from CBS's Cammie McCormick.
Under the new mandate, all U.S. carriers will be required to certify that they are not hiring based on race or sex, and failure to do so could subject the airlines to a federal investigation. The FAA administrator says someone's race, sex, or creed has nothing to do with their ability to fly and land aircraft safely.
It was 8 years ago tomorrow. A gunman went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High in Parkland, Florida, and killed 14 students. 3 staff members. Today, they were remembered during a day of service.
At South Broward High School, the names of all of those killed on that awful day 8 years ago were read aloud.
It just reflects on all of us. Like it's very impactful for all of us.
Students spent the morning writing inspiring messages on hearts. The principal says it is a way to remember those who died 8 years ago and allow staff and students to honor those who died that day. Allison Keys, CBS News.
This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why?
It's time for 60 Minutes.
Can I take your coat?
Oh, you noticed? Yeah, I found it on eBay from a seller in Vegas. Pre-loved and perfect. She listed it and jackpot. Italian leather, classic trench silhouette. You see the braided buckle?
Hang on to your claim ticket.
Oh, I'll hang on to this forever. Have you been on eBay? There's so many finds. And I bet that diving watch would sell fast. Just saying.
Find what you love, sell what you don't. eBay. Things people love.
DQ presents The Spicy Menu. For a limited time, try the new Flamethrower Chicken Strip Basket for $6.99 with spicy, bold strips that heat you up. Served with a side of famous DQ soft serve as a dip to cool you down. That's right, dip those spicy chicken strips right into soft serve. Plus fries and toast, all for just $6.99. And add a new pineapple lemonade sparkler or cooler made with tahini. It's the limited time only Spicy Menu. Get it delivered in the DQ app. Happy, tastes good. Participation may vary.
At 6:04, we have mostly clear skies, 54 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Kina in for Michael Calhoun. The 58-year-old man accused of killing beloved figure skater and coach Sam Linehan at a Southside Starbucks has a long criminal history. Keith Brown's record dates back to 1986 and includes a 30-year sentence for robbery and armed criminal action. Though he was on parole at the time, records show that he had escaped from supervision before the Tuesday morning shooting. Ramona Peterson coached Linehan since the age of 10.
Am I angry? Yes. I'm angry that he wasn't caught before this happened.
Now, police also believe Brown was involved in 2 other armed robberies just days before the killing at the Starbucks. Illinois Secretary of State Alexei Giannoulias is condemning President Trump's attempts to rescind safety grant dollars. Giannoulias calls the actions vindictive and illegal after the White House announced that it would attempt to cut grant funding designed to make Illinois roads safer. Janulius also noted the additional restrictions the Trump administration has placed on CDL issuances to non-domiciled citizens nationwide. And that's causing significant disruptions, he says, in the state's trucking industry, supply chains, and agriculture sector as well. Cardinal spring training is underway. So are you planning your parlays?
Nationally, the betting markets are dominated by football and basketball, but we all know St. Louis is different. Ryan Butler with Covers.com tells KMOX that while basketball usually ranks in second place because of the madness of the NCAA tournament, the love for Cardinal Nation could likely make MLB an outlier here.
Missouri is just such an excellent baseball state, and obviously the Cardinals in particular, 100 plus years, and as they like to know, the best fans in baseball. So I wouldn't surprise me. In North Carolina, we saw, probably disproportionate interest in college basketball. Over in Oregon, where they don't have an NFL team, but an NBA team, we've seen disproportionate interest in NBA betting.
Butler does note that betting volume is especially impacted by how well a team plays. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Illinois farmers say a lack of maintenance on state-owned land is costing them money. State Representative Charlie Meyer has filed House Bill 4622, which would allow farmers to remove trees on IDOT property if they are encroaching on their fields and hurting their bottom line. Meyer says large trees along fence lines are essentially stealing resources from neighboring crops.
You get a 50-foot tall tree, it's taking the nutrients and the moisture away from your crops 50 feet out into the field. So their lack of maintenance is costing the farmers on the other side crops.
Under Meyer's proposal, if IDOT does not remove the offending trees within a set time frame, the neighboring landowner would then have the right to clear the growth themselves. Another legislative attempt that may help some St. Louis, one of the biggest buildings downtown.
HB 3231 would allow for the creation of innovation districts that could give out economic incentives for development. Charles Goldman of the Goldman Group tells the Business Journal this could lead to transformational growth and help his company with a $350 million overhaul of the vacant AT&T Tower, the state's largest office building that's been vacant for a number of years. The bill includes $50 million a year for office to residential conversion tax credits. Other massive buildings awaiting redevelopment downtown include the Railway Exchange, the historic Wainwright, and the former Municipal Courts building. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This weekend is not just Mardi Gras and Valentine's Day. It's also the city of St. Louis's birthday. The Missouri History Museum adding to the weekend celebrations with a 2-day weekend birthday bash that starts tomorrow. Director of Education and Community Engagement, Lindsay Newton, says there will be something for everyone, including a local brass band, history talks, and yard games.
A little before 11:30, we're going to get a whole bunch of people together with the band, and we're going to sing happy birthday to our city to really kick off the weekend in a big party atmosphere.
Newton says one of the main events will be hourly bite-sized talks about the history of the city. Well, there's great news this evening for citizens needing help with their utilities. So far, the Rise and Shine benefit has raised more than $1.3 million. That's a historic number. They've never hit that before. And that's just with this morning. Now, pre-orders were up. If you missed the benefit, though, it continues through Monday. You can just simply scan the QR code on the canisters. And for the first time, you can also round up your checks at Hardee's throughout the region. At 6:08, let's get a check of traffic in the KMOX Traffic Center with Susan Thomas.
Some good news in traffic. 70 eastbound has been reopened past Highway T, and traffic is starting to thin out. Boy, we had a jam behind that one, and it's looking a little bit better. Now, we look better downtown. If you are headed in from Illinois, things look great on the Poplar Street Bridge, and there's just a little bit of volume westbound 6440 headed for McCausland. Eastbound is slowing at Big Bend. Southbound 170, some moderate volume at 64. And out west, 64 is slow at Prospect, but if you are headed into Illinois, we look fine. Now, westbound 64 is slowing at 159. And also on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, east of 157, a slow go, all due to road work. I'm Sue Thomas in the MichaelsFlooringOutlet.com Traffic Center.
Let's enjoy our quiet weather this evening and overnight. The clouds take over, 40 for the low. Clouds dominate on Saturday. Rain developing, especially as we go into the afternoon. 52 for the high. Saturday night, just plain wet. Periods of rain, a chilly 43. Could even be a rumble of thunder. On Sunday, maybe an early shower. Otherwise, a dry day and partly sunny. 59 on Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Dave Murray on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's dropped way down in St. Peter's, 49 degrees. It's 54 in Florissant, 54 downtown of the Arch. I'm Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Come on, let's get going now.
From KMOX Sports.
We're primed and ready. All day, baby. Hey, let's go.
This is the Gray Bar Sports Open Live. Gray Bar, your distributor for electrical and datacom needs. On 104.1 FM, KMOX.
From Jupiter, Florida and Cardinals spring training, it is time for a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. A little bit of a short show today. We'll take you for the next about hour and 5 minutes till 7:15 tonight, and then we'll make way for Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr., and SLU basketball. They match up against Loyola Chicago tonight with a 7:30 tip-off. We got a bunch of things to get to. We'll hear from Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol coming up later on this hour, go through all the daily storylines here in Jupiter, Florida. Wanted to open up just kind of giving a rundown of what happened today because we are now into the thick of things. There is activity every single day, and today we saw some live BP sessions, which are always, before games get started, watching the live BP sessions is the closest thing you're going to get to baseball, and it's a lot of fun to be around. And for somebody like me, I get to basically be standing on the field as it's happening, so I always enjoy that. You just see the things up close, which is good. But we had a handful of live BPs today. Kyle Leahy got out onto the mound for the first time. That's why there's been so much talk about Leahy today. Also, we saw Jarangelo Senja. He threw only as a right-hander, facing both righties and lefties. He only threw as a right-hander today, so that's notable. That was part of the plan. And then Bruce Zimmerman got out there as well. Had a handful of pitchers, get some bullpen sessions in there as well. Gordon Graceffo, Matt Swanson, Max Rajic, all through today. By the way, if you want to see video of any of these things, I've tweeted it all out. It's available on my Twitter account at Matt Pauley on air, MattPauley on air. I always try to get at least one complete at bat of the live BP sessions for all the pitchers, so you can kind of watch them go through the process of an at bat. And then we got some video of the various pitchers throwing BPs as well. So that's all available on my Twitter account if you want to check it out. Outside of that, it was just kind of a standard day, which is good. You're already into the routine of everything going on here in spring training. There was one thing that was brought up today. I actually thought we might have touched on it during Rush Hour Sports. We didn't, which is good because it gives me the opportunity to get into it. One concern regarding the WBC, and it's not a major concern. It's not a situation like it was a few years ago where the Cardinals had so many players taking part in the WBC that the organization really felt like it had a negative impact on the team. It's not to that end, but I thought Oliver Marmol said something interesting today. You'll hear the words from Ollie later on, but I want to talk through it a little bit first. So we'll do that coming up in just a moment as we roll on with the Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX.
Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis. Lose the weight or stop smoking. Guaranteed only $59.99. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis starts at 11 a.m. Registration at 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking starts at 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic installation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA.
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la. Let's go.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Wesley is a truck driver.
I drive a truck and I love what I do.
A truck driver with IRS troubles.
They told me I owed them $43,000.
It got really bad.
Quite a few letters in the mail. They were talking about wage garnishment coming after my house, my car. Yeah, they don't play around. I seriously thought that I was going to lose everything.
One sleepless night, Wesley finally made a call to Optima Tax Relief at 2 a.m.
Kind of figured I'd get a machine, but I didn't. I actually got to talk to an actual person in the middle of the night.
He found just what he was looking for.
Oh, they were great people. You need a team of people that know what they're doing. Optima Tax, they know what they're doing.
Optima Tax Relief came through with flying colors.
I saved an incredible amount of money. Happy don't even come close. I was absolutely overjoyed.
Take Wesley's advice.
If you're in any kind of trouble with the IRS, call Optima Tax Relief. Don't trust anybody else.
Call Optima for a free consultation. Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
The Firefox search engine is adding new AI controls, which will allow users to determine how much artificial intelligence impacts their search results. Firefox owner Mozilla says the new AI controls will provide a single place to block current and future generative AI features in Firefox. Users can also review and manage individual AI features if users choose to use them. I'm Jason Brooks.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Proudly serving St. Louis for over 100 years. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Back at it on KMOX. It is a Gray Bar Sports Open Line. My name is Matt Pauley. Have you for another hour or so. We're going to get out of here early tonight. Why? Billikens basketball. So a pretty good reason they are going to match up tonight against Loyola Chicago on the road. 7:30 tip-off. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr., they've got the call, and our broadcast is set to begin at 7:15 right here on KMOX. Oliver Marmol said something today, and you'll hear, we'll play pretty much everything that Ollie said today coming up in our next segment, as we like to do. We're doing that a little earlier tonight since we are done early. But he mentioned there was a lot of talk about the WBC, and the Cardinals will tell you that the WBC had a very negative impact on the organization 3 years ago when they had tons of guys who were participating. The number of guys participating this year, much more limited, and Riley O'Brien, Gordon Graceffo, Thomas Sajasi are the three guys who I feel like are kind of locks for the Major League roster who are going to be participating in it. And of those three, Riley O'Brien is the most prominent because he's in line to potentially be the club's closer this year. And they're not waving any red flags. There's more positives than negatives, just the experience that you get being able to be part of it, especially when it's just a small group of players from the organization that are going. But something to keep an eye on, and something they're going to keep an eye on. And I wouldn't say Ali was concerned. He didn't use that terminology, but maybe if you read between the lines, it's more than just being cognizant, even if it hasn't quite crossed the line of being concerned. There is a ramp-up process in spring. And like I like to say, you get ramped up by ramping up. And Riley O'Brien, playing for Korea, is going to be potentially their closer. He's going to be pitching in high leverage situations. It's going to be games at the Tokyo Dome that are going to be sold out and just crazy. I mean, it's going to feel like a huge game. And generally speaking, over the course of spring, you ramp into getting to a point where you can handle high leverage, big moments. And, Riley's a little bit ahead of other players. He prepared his body, prepared himself to be at this point because he knew he was going to have to throw high leverage innings sooner than guys who are just going through normal spring. But that is something to keep an eye on. Somebody who is going to be throwing ramped up innings without going through the full entire spring training ramping up process. And I think that they're just aware of it. Now, there's a lot of communication going on between the WBC folks with the Korean team, and they know what situations and what days and everything that O'Brien's going to pitch. Like it's not something to be really worried about, but it is something that is a little bit different because there's a reason baseball does things the way they do. And we've learned in years where there have been shortened spring trainings, how important the entire 6-week run of spring training actually is, especially for pitchers. So just kind of put that maybe in the back of your head that O'Brien's going to be throwing high energy, high leverage, emotional innings in the WBC earlier than he normally would be over the run of spring. And you just hope that his body and everything is ready for it. Got a message asking specifically about Ivan Herrera, how he's looking, catching and throwing. We're really not seeing much. He's still, speaking of ramping up, he's still coming back off injury. He's limited in what he is able to do. So not much to report right now. The team is very comfortable with where he is at. They feel like he is going to be fully healthy by the time the season does get started. But it's still a process for him as he continues through. If you missed the news yesterday, he is not going to be participating in the World Baseball Classic as he just could not get the insurance because of his injury situation. He could not get the insurance to be able to participate. So he's really bummed about that. Hopefully he gets another opportunity at some point in time. This is kind of funny. So Carlos Correa is somebody who is unable to play in the WBC for the exact same insurance reason. Musician Bad Bunny of the Super Bowl halftime show, he offered to pay for the insurance policy for Carlos Correa to be able to play. It doesn't look like that's going to happen, but that's where we're at right now. Is this is going to continue to be an issue every single year, every single WBC year, the guys who have any sort of physical ailment might be in jeopardy of not being able to participate in the WBC because of the insurance thing. So now you feel bad for Ivan Herrera, but it's not, from a Cardinals standpoint, I don't think it's the end of the world that he's not participating. All right, we got lots to talk about with Oliver Marmol. He went through a number of different topics of conversation today. We'll play that audio for you in just a moment. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
You've got a big day, So you use Unstoppable scent boosters to give your laundry nonstop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
Can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
Boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour nonstop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
At the UPS store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS store. Be unstoppable.
Mozart's The Magic Flute comes to life in concert with the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra. Under the baton of music director Stefan Deneve, hear one of Mozart's most brilliant scores performed in all its richness, with the St. Louis Symphony Chorus and St. Louis Children's Choirs bringing its unforgettable characters to life. February 20th and 22nd at Powell Hall at the Jack C. Taylor Music Center. Tickets at slso.org.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
Hey, St. Louis City SC fans, mark your calendars now. The Boys in Red return to Energizer Park to kick off Season 4 Saturday, February 21st. And you could be there for the dawn of a new golden era of St. Louis soccer. Go to stlcitysc.com/tickets and reserve your seat now for the MLS home opener versus Charlotte FC. Limited quantities remain. See you soon, St. Louis.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinals spring training as the Redbirds get ready for a new season.
Listen for Matt's Reports Daily, sponsored by St. Louis Composting and Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
We are back at it. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX. My name is Matt Pauley, continuing to come your way from Jupiter, Florida, and Cardinals spring training as activity does continue. We get done a little bit early tonight because Billikens basketball, they are in Chicago this evening for a matchup against Loyola Chicago. SLU comes in ranked number 18 in the nation, 23-1, 11-0 in A10 play. Loyola Chicago, they are struggling, 6-19 and just 2-10 in A10 and A10 play. 7:30 tip-off. That means our coverage will begin about 7:15 with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. right here on KMOX. Because we are done a little early, we're doing this a little early. Every day during the duration of spring training, we try to play for you and bring back for you some of the comments that are made each day from Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol as he does meet with the media on an everyday basis. So the WBC pitchers and catchers reported a couple days early this week, and they've been going through activities. Now, we learned yesterday that Ivan Herrera would not be participating in the WBC this year. He could not find the insurance that he needed with the injury that he's currently dealing with, and he certainly is bummed out about that. There's a handful of players that are participating from a pitching standpoint of note. Riley O'Brien, Gordon Graceffo is guys that have had big league roles previously. There's some other players who are certainly on that list as well. But nonetheless, this is a very different situation than what it was like 3 years ago when the Cardinals had a ton of players in the WBC and a ton of their frontline players in the WBC. And they'll still tell you that very much impacted their preparation for the season and impacted what turned into a very disappointing year for the club. When the involvement is much more limited, manager Oliver Marmol does believe that the WBC can be a benefit for those players who are involved.
We believe so, and that's kind of the way you want to look at it. And talking to a couple of these guys, they're at a point where as long as the ramp up and we feel good about where they're at when they have to leave and what they're going to do and how they're going to be used while they're there, then there's definitely some upside to experiencing that stage. Like Riley comes to mind. I know that's probably the one like top of list, but him being able to experience that is a huge advantage. So we're making sure we're doing our part in him feeling good and ramped up and getting the touches necessary prior to leaving, which I believe is right around the 27th or so. But yeah, I like what could come out of this whole deal.
Riley O'Brien, with all due respect to everybody who is involved, and Thomas JC is going to be part of it. He's somebody who you feel like has a big league job pretty much locked up. But of everybody who is participating from the Cardinals, probably the most high-profile individual is Riley O'Brien playing for the Korean club. O'Brien is in line to potentially be the ninth inning closer for the Cardinals if they go down the path of having just a single guy who they try to get to in the ninth. More on that coming up in just a moment. But O'Brien, very important to the 2026 Cardinals, and Marmol does say that the club and he have been communicating with the Korea WBC folks just to make sure that everybody's on the same page.
So we've received everything as far as how they're thinking about using him, what days, the rest in between, the amount of pitches, some of the limitations. So yeah, you go through all of that and make sure everybody's on the same page and the player is committed to it. That's a big part of it.
One area that maybe there's a little bit of concern about, or at least being diligent about, is the fact that you ramp things up and you get to the point in which you are doing things at a very competitive level as spring training moves along. Well, when you're in the WBC and when you're maybe throwing high leverage innings in the WBC, as O'Brien is expected to do, there can be a little bit of worry that all of a sudden you're at a full go, that you're fully ramped up without ramping up, if that makes any sense whatsoever. And Ali did say that they have to be very careful with O'Brien as far as him throwing those high leverage WBC innings this early.
Which is a challenge in itself,
Right.
in how you build them up, right? Because ideally you work your way into that, and there's a progression in spring training, and the way we ramp up is for a reason. So you have to do that quicker, and then not only quicker, but you add different layers of under the lights, lots of fans, the expectations, it's on the line, and that's added stress, physical stress.
Sure.
So you want to make sure that off season leading into him arriving in spring training is what's needed, and then that his touches here are also appropriate.
All right, so I said I was going to get back to this, and O'Brien is a huge part of it. last year after the trade deadline, when they moved on from a number of relief pitchers, the bullpen looked completely different. However, the bullpen was very functional. It was quite good even after the trade deadline last year. And you had scenarios where Riley O'Brien was the ninth inning guy. You had scenarios where Matt Swanson was going to carry multiples and finish things out. Jojo Romero certainly got his opportunities as well. And from a very, take a step back general standpoint, Ali did say that in a perfect world, they would like to be able to run the bullpen kind of in the same manner as they did post-deadline last year.
My hope would be similar, but I mean, you can't just hit the repeat button because that usually doesn't work. But our thought process of how we got there would be fairly similar.
Ali did leave open the idea that they could really try to have just a single ninth inning guy that they're trying to always get to. Seemingly that would be Riley O'Brien. There's also a scenario where it is a little bit more by committee. But when, this team had Ryan Helsley for the last few years where he was the ninth inning guy. Depending on how things play out in spring, there's certainly at least a potential scenario where O'Brien is that true ninth inning closer. Somebody's going to be part of the back end of the bullpen and was brought in this offseason is a veteran in Ryan Stanek. They really wanted to have a veteran out there, and Ali really feels like Stanek is a perfect fit for this roster and for this team.
He's the right personality for that clubhouse. And talking to him on a Zoom prior to him signing with us, you can tell like he would do well with this group in his own way. And that's part of it, man. You try to grab the right personalities that don't have to be something that they're not. In his own way, he'll be able to keep that clubhouse in check. And at times it's in a joking way, at times it's in a serious way, but he has a way of doing it that comes across well, and he's comfortable with it. So I've enjoyed my conversations with him. I really have.
Something that's been taking place as pitchers have been working is there's been a lot of collaboration with other pitchers. When guys are going through their various live BP sessions and going through bullpen sessions, you see a lot of other pitchers standing behind. Dustin May has been a big part of that. And Ali says that what they're really trying to do is make sure that all the pitchers on the staff are lifting up the others where everybody's making everybody else better.
The way we're looking at it is less of it being one voice. If you look behind Libby, all starters were behind him yesterday. So it's a collective effort of we're in this together rather than just one voice or person that everyone's looking to. And I think if you as coaches and our staff creating the framework for how we want them to operate and allowing them to take ownership over that is the key. We feel really good about that. We really do.
So Dustin May is a big part of that. Dustin May also somebody who the Cardinals are expecting to have a very big season from. He continues to fight his way back from an injury and also a very serious medical situation, but he's put on a lot of weight. He looks good. We saw what he could be during his time with the Dodgers, and Ali feels like that Dustin May absolutely can get back to being his previous best, if not even better.
That's why we got him. Because, I mean, when you look at the history of injury there, like, I'm counting on him having an incredible year. For a lot of different reasons. You look at the timing of the injuries and coming back from it, and then the esophagus deal, and then him going into last year, and talk about competitive nature. This guy came in probably 20, if not more, pounds under what he would normally pitch at, and competed at that last year and did not feel like himself. And this is the first spring where he's coming in not rehabbing in a while or trying to get back to his fighting weight. Like, he feels normal. In a lot of the conversation prior to signing him and getting to talk to him, it was pretty clear that he hasn't felt this way in a long time. So, yeah, I'm extremely optimistic.
Kyle Leahy threw a live BP session earlier today. He is someone who's very much competing for a rotation spot. And when speaking, it's interesting because it really feels like Oliver Marmol lights up when talking about Matthew Liberatore and also lights up when talking about Kyle Leahy. And Ali says that Leahy is doing absolutely everything that he needs to do to legitimately compete for a rotation job.
This is a guy, when you start to break down his offseason, obviously we did a little bit last year leading into the last game, letting him have that feel because we knew what we wanted from him this offseason and the opportunity ahead of him coming into spring. But when you talk about the attention to detail, and I won't get into it, I'll allow him to if he wants to, but that he put himself through this offseason in order to be ready, it's easy to root for the guy because you want the type of guys that just take it to that next level of understanding what's at stake and the opportunity and what it can create for them if they take hold of it. And this is a guy that's not gonna if it doesn't go his way, it's not going to be because he wasn't prepared. He just got beat. And those are the type of dudes you want. But I'm proud of the work that he's put in, the communication with our staff, just being extremely proactive. So, yeah, those are some of the things I'm excited about.
Leahy can be a little bit quiet. He's not a big talker, but he's somebody who is very competitive. And Ollie's got a fair amount of appreciation for Leahy's temperament.
The thing that probably stands out the most is just his even keel nature. He is he's pretty stoic, but this dude cares, and don't mistake his lack of emotion for a lack of being a competitor. He cares, he competes, he has extremely high standards for himself. So those are some of the things that come to mind. Yeah.
We also got to see Gerangelo Senja. He went through a live BP session earlier today. Interestingly enough, he faced both righties and lefties, but he only threw from the right side. We've seen him throw from the left side in some bullpen sessions, but when facing hitters so far, still obviously very early on in camp, we've seen him just throw from the right side. No matter which side he's throwing from, Oliver Marmol is very happy that Senja is now part of this organization.
I'm excited to get to know him and obviously see the stuff. We're super high on him, but to be able to be around him, allow our staff to be around him, get to know him, collect as much intel as possible is going to be the key to all of this. And that's what I'm most excited about. But yeah, the stuff is real.
Now, obviously, when you have a switch pitcher, an ambidextrous pitcher, the planning is different about how much you throw with your right hand, how much you throw with your left hand, and everything else that goes along with it from a training standpoint. And they've put a lot of thought into this, and it's clear that they need to be very diligent when they go through the planning process for how they want to go through a spring training with somebody like Senja.
You have to make sure you're asking as many questions as possible and shooting holes in the programming, and as a staff, comfortable kind of jarring back and forth, making sure we're not missing anything. Yesterday, we spent a decent amount of our afternoon specifically discussing this. So.
And as they put that plan together, Senja has to be a very big part of that.
It's a great example of make sure that the players included. This is a specialty of that, right? Like you this is where I'm saying ask as many questions as possible and collect as much intel as possible in order to make best decisions, because you have to involve the player heavily in this. We have guys that have, prior to him arriving, put a lot of thought into it. In how we would do it, and they are confident in that, but they're also not naive in thinking that they have the answers. A lot of questions have been asked.
A couple of things here before we get done with Ollie for the day. Nathan Church is somebody who's going to have a big opportunity here because Lars Nootbaar is likely not to be ready for the start of the season, probably won't be long after the season. And again, they have not yet ruled him out. But just the fact that he is where he is right now, he's going to be pushed back a little bit. And it seems unlikely, not impossible, seems unlikely that Nootbaar is going to be available at the start of the season. And with that, that's going to potentially open up some playing time. There's been a lot of talk about going out and finding that right-handed bat that can play the outfield. Whether that happens or not, Nathan Church is probably going to have some opportunities, especially early on in the season. And Ollie acknowledges that this can be a key spring training for Church.
It's an important one, and he knows it, and he's going about it extremely well, and he's prepared well. And talking to Jay, man, like there's been good communication with him during the offseason. He's come in and he looks good. There's some adjustments offensively that he's been working on with Brownie, and hopefully we start to see some of the fruits of that. But this is a guy we covered him yesterday with some of our directors and minor league staff that were around him a little bit more, and just they all describe him as an ultra competitor and a guy that helps you win. So our hope is that he can drop his shoulders a little bit, be himself, and show well.
And then the final thing, and this is something that I've been talking to guys a lot about, I find it very interesting that Rob Sarfolio and his staff has worked with pretty much everybody in player development, and also for big leaguers, everybody involved in the big league staff in putting together off-season player plans. So my question for Ollie was, you put these player plans together for these players going into the offseason. Does that actually accelerate things where these guys come into camp and maybe they're a little bit further along because of the work that they did in the offseason, and even taking that one step further, how those player plans can continue to impact beyond spring and into the regular season as well?
When you look at going into the offseason and creating these player plans with Dusty and KD, who we hired, and Hooley, Pierpont, everybody being able to speak into those player plans, and then doing it on the defensive side, base running side, offensive side with Brownie and Casey and BA and Packing, everybody. There's a lot of work that took place, but it allows for a centralized location where a player's plan is there, and then you can monitor it over time and make sure that you're actually on track. So yes, helpful during the off season, but I think it'll be even more helpful in season as we move forward.
That is Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol. A lot from him today. Good stuff as always. Hope you enjoy being able to hear that. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 1 of the program. Don't have a whole lot in hour number 2. We're getting closer and closer to SLU basketball. Again, they match up against Loyola Chicago this evening. That's going to be a 7:30 tip. Our coverage with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. begins at 7:15. More in a moment. It's a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
St. Louis, get ready. One of the most powerful voices in country music is coming to the Dome at America's Center on March 7th. Zach Bryan, live in concert.
It'll be fun about those clubs, I'm telling you, baby.
With the songs you know by heart.
You can see now.
One night, one stage, an unforgettable night of raw, honest music. Tickets available now at Ticketmaster.com. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
When you enter a place of business, you're owed a legal duty that the place of business is safe for you to shop in. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you suffered an injury at a place of business, our duty is to protect you after that harm. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.com.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW-1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
For 100 years, KMOX has been a part of St. Louis. Now, those moments live on, preserved, remastered, and ready to be heard again. Discover KMOX from the Archives, a podcast featuring classic audio from a century of service.
Sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original.
The KMOX from the Archives podcast, available now at KMOX100.com or wherever you get your podcasts. St. Louis has a voice.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
That voice has shared our stories from headline to history.
Swing and a home run to left. The first major league home run for Albert Pujols.
Among those voices, Dan Deerdorf.
Good football town with a lot of good football fans, and they deserve better than to have both of our teams lead.
Working at KMOX is an honor and a responsibility to represent this community. It's one we take seriously. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Two St. Louis icons, one legendary tribute. Join the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra and St. Louis City SC at Powell Hall on Sunday, February 15th for Eternal, a tribute to Tina Turner. Presented by Purina, with performances by special guests including conductor Anthony Partner, Grammy Award-winning artist Brittany Howard of Alabama Shakes, and our city's own Kennedy Homes. This is your chance to experience the ultimate journey through Tina's immortal catalog. Tickets are limited. Get yours now at slso.org.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
Back at it on a Gray Bar Sports Open Line on KMOX. We are in Jupiter, Florida. It is Cardinals spring training as we wrap up week number 1 of our coverage from here. Big weekend coming up as on Sunday. That is report date for full squad, and the first full squad workout is going to be coming up on Monday. So we'll have even more folks to be able to talk about and more narratives, more storylines to talk about as well when the full squad gets in here. And that's going to be happening early next week. And then next week, this is your final weekend without Cardinals baseball till, hopefully October, right? At least through September for sure, because we've got Cardinals spring training games coming up next weekend. Saturday is going to be Grapefruit League opening day. We'll have it for you right here on KMOX. A lot of games are going to be on KMOX. The broadcast schedule was just recently announced, and we're looking forward to bringing you spring training baseball. But yeah, we are just a little bit more than a week away from Grapefruit League games being played. It was announced today that Major League Baseball has finalized their rules for the first year of the ABS Challenge system. And just a couple of notes. We had Jesse Rogers on Gas House Gang earlier today to talk through this, and he writes about it over at ESPN.com if you want to read all of this for yourself. But first and foremost, I'm excited about this. This is something that I guess it's not needed because they have certainly been able to, make it through and play baseball games without an ABS Challenge system. But it's something that is good for Major League Baseball for sure. And some of the small things that are going to look a little bit different. I like this. They don't want games to end on a terrible call. So, and maybe in the future, they're going to extend this to the 9th inning as well. But at least moving forward, if you use your 2 challenges and you lose them, you are going to get a new challenge in every inning of extra innings. You can't carry challenges over unless you have your original 2, but you do get 1 challenge for every inning of extra innings. I would not be upset if they did change the rule to include the 9th inning in there as well, that your first 2 challenges, 1 would get restocked starting every inning, starting in the 9th, just with the idea that, again, you don't want a game to end on a terrible, 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 terrible call. That is not optically good for Major League Baseball. So maybe they'll make that tweak later on, but at least for now, if games go to extra innings, you get another challenge. Also, umpires are going to be given discretion on plays that happen on the bases, even when a pitch is being challenged. So if there is a stolen base attempt that maybe could be impacted by a pitch being called a ball or a strike, the result of the stolen base would stand even if they make a change. The only difference being if it's like a 3-2 count and somebody gets rung up and then thrown, and the base runner gets thrown out at second, and the pitch is challenged, and it's ball 4. Well, then that runner who would have been on first and going to second on a walk would then get second base. But there's gonna be some funky moments in this where a pitch is being challenged and a play is being challenged all at the same time. They're going to adjudicate the pitch first and then go through the other part of the play as well. One of my favorite parts of the rule: a pitch may not be challenged if a position player is pitching, because, of course, if a position player is pitching, at that point, you're just trying to get the game over with. So no challenges of pitches when a position player is pitching. Again, they're going to be going through the process of measuring every single player. So each individual will have their own strike zone. I also like this. They're going to shrink the zone a little bit, and they're hopeful that this is not going to increase the walk rate. And what Jesse Rogers told us earlier today is that the walk rate in Major League Baseball has not dramatically changed over the years. So they feel like they can shrink the strike zone a little bit without walks going way up. But by shrinking the strike zone, they hope that hitters are going to make more contact, that there's going to be more pitches in the zone, and the result of that is going to be more contact. That's something, when this season gets over, that's probably the thing I'm going to be most interested to see if that actually works. I've been a long-time advocate of shrinking the strike zone and making pitchers throw it in the zone where hitters have a better chance of hitting it, and that's what they are going to be trying to do on this. So those are the basic rules of what's going on as the ABS Challenge system. It has arrived, and we're looking forward to it here moving forward. Teams are going to have to get used to it. Every team's going to have their own rules. You certainly don't want challenges to be made when you only have two in situations that just don't have, where there's not a lot of meaning to that moment. So that's going to be part of the process. And again, I know throughout the minor leagues, most, if not all, teams had very set rules on when you can challenge a pitch. And I would think that Major League Baseball teams are going to have the same type of guidelines for their teams moving forward. One more break for the news. We'll get our 7 o'clock news here in just a moment. I'll come back for a few more minutes, and then we'll get you to Billikens basketball. They are in action tonight in Chicago. They'll take on Loyola Chicago. That's coming up in just a little while with Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. from Jupiter, Florida. It's Graybar Sports Open Line on KMOX.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mira-joyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
This is an important message for all parents of teens. If your teen or preteen is or has been addicted to social media sites such as Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, and they have suffered from eating disorders, body image issues, anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, you may be eligible to participate in a lawsuit for significant compensation. Disclosures by a Facebook whistleblower show Instagram and Facebook know their social media platforms were highly addictive and may have caused eating disorders, body image issues, depression, and suicidal ideation. It appears these social media companies knew they had been causing serious harm to kids, but have done little to stop it. If your teen has been harmed by social media like Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok, or YouTube, then you could be eligible for significant compensation. If you'd like to discuss a lawsuit, text LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232, LEVEL to 323232.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson, Media Advertising Specialists, LLC, is responsible for the content of this ad with principal offices in Chicago, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
At the UPS Store, we know being a small business owner means holiday time is still go time. Still get those orders shipped time. And still re-up on stamps and supplies time. That's why this upcoming holiday, while others close up shop, we'll be open. And happy to help you keep being unstoppable. Come into your local store today. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable.
Hey, it's Matt Pauley. I'm in Jupiter, Florida, covering Cardinal spring training as the Redbirds get ready for a new season.
Listen for Matt's Reports Daily. Sponsored by St. Louis Composting and Happy Roof on the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Peter King. Democrats and Republicans haven't been able to work out a compromise on what ICE should and shouldn't be allowed to do moving forward. That means funding runs out for much of the Department of Homeland Security in just 4 hours. CBS's Erica Brown is on Capitol Hill.
Both parties are trading blame for the impasse.
Democrats can build on the measures that Republicans have already agreed to if they actually engage in serious negotiations with the White House.
Their proposal is not serious, plain and simple.
Once the shutdown begins, ICE and Border Patrol will continue to be funded with money from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, while other agencies under DHS, including FEMA and TSA, would work without pay.
He's been called the best skater in the world, often called the quad god, but American Ilya Milanin fell twice in a disastrous free skate that sent him tumbling out of the running for the gold at the Winter Games. CBS's Kelly O'Grady is in Milan.
There were nationalities all over in that crowd, not just Americans, and they could see that this individual alone out there on the ice was having one of the worst skates at the most important moment in his life thus far, the Olympic Games, and they tried to lift him up. It wasn't enough. He fought through that program, but afterwards said the pressure was unreal and that he blew it.
Now to Tucson, where investigators hope the possible evidence they've found this week will lead them to a kidnapper and the 84-year-old woman he abducted nearly 2 weeks ago. CBS's Jonathan Vigliotti.
As the search continues for Nancy Guthrie, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nano says the manhunt is intensifying.
Should the suspect be afraid tonight?
I think the suspect should be afraid every night. We're going to find you.
The FBI describes the male suspect as 5'9" to 5'10" tall, with an average build and wearing a black Ozark trail hiker backpack.
President Trump makes no secret of the fact that he wants Iran to end its nuclear program. And after a visit to Fort Bragg, North Carolina, he says negotiations are continuing.
I will say they want to talk, but so far they do a lot of talking and no action.
And Trump says regime change in Iran would be good for the U.S. The Consumer Price Index shows a drop from month to month as well as year to year. The White House is claiming victory. Here's CBS's Weijia Jiang.
We have a statement from the White House that expectations beating CPI report proves that President Trump has defeated Joe Biden's inflation crisis. Overall inflation fell and real wages grew by $1,400 in President Trump's first year in office. They go on to talk about housing inflation that continues to cool.
This is CBS News.
I want to know what's going on in the world. I'm Tony. There are big questions that all of us are asking. I want to get you the answers. How are you? I'm Tony DeCopel. Join me on the CBS Evening.
At 7:03, we have clear skies and 53 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Maria Aquino. Our top story, 28-year-old Sam Linehan, a beloved figure skater coach and former competitive standout, being remembered for the impact that she had on young athletes in St. Louis. Linehan was killed Tuesday during a shooting at the Starbucks drive-thru on South Grand while waiting for coffee. Ramona Peterson, who coached Linehan, says she was 10 years old, and the loss is incomprehensible.
It was devastating to lose her this quickly.
Peterson says Linehan brought a unique energy to the rink.
Very positive. She had a very positive way of coaching, but she also held her students accountable. And she inspired them.
Metro Edge Figure Skating Club members tell Fox 2 that they're focusing on Linehan's legacy of inspiration. 22 employees of the Main Street Sports Group LLC will be losing their jobs due to the closing of the facility, which is located at number 6 Cardinal Way in downtown St. Louis. The entire facility is shutting down, including remote workers. The company expects the action to be permanent. While they say this does not meet the threshold to trigger a warn, they wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of the company's circumstances. The first employee separations will start happening on April the 14th. The St. Louis Mayor's Ball underway at this hour. All 4 floors are being used and transformed into a Mardi Gras Central. If the Mayor's Ball, it's the Mayor's Ball tonight. And the foundation spokesperson, Mac Bradley, had a few things to say.
Thanks to all of the people who have bought tickets to the Mayor's Ball in the last 24 years, the Mardi Gras Foundation has been able to fund nearly $700,000 in community improvement grants over that time.
This year, the Mardi Gras Foundation will support the city's tornado recovery efforts. Researchers have found a new cocktail of medicines that could deliver quick relief for severe asthma sufferers.
A study in The Lancet found positive results in 2 clinical trials of a triple therapy asthma inhaler. It reduced severe attacks by up to 18%. Katrina Brandici is with AstraZeneca, who makes the drug and funded the research.
This helps to reduce the inflammation, the swelling in the airways, relax the muscles around the airways, and prevent the airways from tightening.
A key takeaway, the benefits of a triple therapy were seen even in people who hadn't had a recent attack. Brad Gibson for CBS News.
From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk tonight, clouds 40 degrees, rain tomorrow with a high of 52. Right now it is 46 degrees in St. Peters, 53 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch it's 53. I'm Maria Aquina, KMOX News.
Welcome back to the Gray Bar Sports Open Line. Once again, Matt Pauley on KMOX.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-507-9701. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an 8+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-507-9701. That's 800-507-9701. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
We do get into hour number 2 of a Gray Bar Sports Open Line right here on KMOX from Jupiter, Florida and Cardinal Spring Training. My name is Matt Pauley. I say second hour. It's really the 5th segment, a little bit of a second hour of the program because we're done in just a few minutes. We're going to get out of here early. We've got Billikens basketball tonight. They are matched up against Loyola Chicago. That's going to be a 7:30 tip-off. So the bottom of this hour, Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr., they are set to take over at 7:15, so not long from now. And look forward to the Billikens. We are hoping that they can move to a perfect 12-0 in A-10 play. I think they are likely to win tonight, but just having been around college basketball, games like these scare me because Loyola Chicago is just 2-10 in league play. They're probably a little bit better than that league record would indicate. And they're playing at home where maybe they've got a little bit of extra juice against a really good SLU team that's going to have a target on their back. On a year like this for Loyola Chicago where not a lot of things are going right, they would love to hand the Billikens their first league loss of the year and impact some things for the Billikens moving forward. At this point, any loss is going to have an impact on SLU. Look, there's talk about maybe SLU getting positioned here in St. Louis at the for the first couple rounds of the NCAA tournament. You need to be a high enough seed for that to happen. So all these games carry such importance with them, and you really don't want to slip up. Not that I think they're going to, but just, I don't know, games like these always scare me a little bit. Want to finish with this, and again, I don't like talking about the baseball labor stuff, but it's such a big deal, and it's just this dark cloud that's hanging over all things baseball. And our sister station, The Score in Chicago, great sports station, Matt Spiegel, who has been there for a long time, does a great job. He revealed something that I thought was really, really interesting. I'll read from what he said on his show. Quote, I talked to sources within multiple Major League Baseball franchises. Over the last 5 years, Major League Baseball has been withholding a small portion of each team's share of national TV money, as well as a portion of each team's share of licensing revenue. And these dollars have been consolidated by Major League Baseball to what will be given to teams next year as a war chest, a $75 million per team war chest that should allow each franchise to withstand the potential loss of an entire baseball season. That's the new information I was able to confirm and put out today, unquote. I'm not willing to go yet to a place where I'm going to predict that games are going to be missed, a season's going to be missed, substantial time is going to be missed. Until that happens, I have a hard time believing it can happen, because I'm watching the game of baseball be incredibly healthy. So many eyes on it. Are there flaws with it? Yeah, I mean, the fact that the Dodgers do what the Dodgers do, and there's fan bases that feel like they're out of it before spring training even starts. Like, I'm not running away from any of that. But many of the factors, when you look at health, revenue for the league, TV ratings, national TV ratings, World Series, there's just so many good things happening with our game right now. So until it happens, I have a hard time predicting that games are going to be lost. That being said, it seems like every week there's a new little bit of information that comes out where it more and more feels like they are getting ready for a legit work stoppage in baseball, which would be terrible. Which would, if there needs to be a word stronger than terrible, it would be the absolute worst. And there's been some other reporting that's come out here over the last couple of days that Major League Baseball owners, that they are locked in and they are hunkered down and they are shoulder to shoulder, and they want major changes. They want a salary cap, and that they are willing to go all in for this, even if it means missing games. Now, look, that can just be maybe what they're just trying to do is scare people. And if that's what they're trying to do, they're effective, at least with me. I'm not the person that they need to scare. If anything, they're trying to scare the players into the players getting into a mental state of maybe being more willing to adjust to some things than they would want to, but that's not exactly something that the players union has ever really done. So I don't know. I don't like this stuff. I wish it wasn't going on. I wish that both sides, and there's even factions within the two sides. There's the large market owners. There's the small market owners. They're not all agreed on everything. On the player side, there's the rank and file players, and then there's the big money players, and they don't agree on everything. So it's not good right now. And the fact that it seems like they are ramping up for it to be an extended work stoppage, even though I'm still not at a point of believing that that's going to happen, the more little nuggets of information that come out make me that much more concerned that could potentially happen here moving forward. That's going to do it for the show today. Again, we've got Billikens basketball. They match up against Loyola Chicago. Don't go anywhere. Bob Ramsey, Earl Austin Jr., they've got the call of the game. It's Billikens basketball. It's on the way next on your home for the Cardinals and the Billikens, America's Sports Voice, KMOX.